You were never supposed to hear this, not like this, because if you truly understand what I'm about to tell you, you will never live the same way again. You will see the world differently. People will look at you, but they won't understand what you see when you look back at them. That's the danger of truth. It's not for everyone. Most people are prisoners inside their own life, chained by their pain, broken by what has happened to them. And they don't even realize those chains were forged by their own hands. But you're different, aren't you? You're still listening, which means some part of you already knows something's wrong. You feel it, don't you? That quiet voice in your head whispering that your pain wasn't random. It was designed. Not by some grand conspiracy, but by the silent laws of life itself. The pain you've been running from, drowning in distractions, blaming others for, that pain is your greatest weapon, if you dare to use it. Listen carefully. Every great man or woman you've ever admired, every empire that ever rose, every legacy that has stood the test of time was built on suffering. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is raw power in its purest form. But here's the trap. Life gives it to you in the ugliest wrapping possible. It feels unfair. It feels personal. That's how it keeps most people weak. They spend their entire lives fighting to escape their pain, instead of learning to weaponize it. You think your heartbreak, your failure, your humiliation is holding you back? No, it's waiting. Like a locked vault in your mind. Behind it lies strength, discipline, obsession, everything you keep wishing you had. But that vault only opens when you stop asking, why me, and start asking, what will I build with this? The truth is brutal, but I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to wake you up. Every tear, every sleepless night, every time someone betrayed you or abandoned you, it's fuel. And every second you spend sulking, avoiding, or numbing yourself with cheap distractions, that fuel rots away, wasted, while someone else out there, someone hungrier than you, is burning their pain into power and becoming unstoppable. You've been taught to fear pain. I'm telling you to hunt it, to drag it into the light, dissect it, and forge it into something the world can't ignore. Because if you don't, someone else will use their pain to climb past you. And you'll still be stuck, whining about the life you think you deserved while they're living the life they took. So I'm going to ask you this, and I want you to answer it in your own head right now. Are you going to keep running from the thing that could set you free? Or are you finally ready to turn and face it? Because from this moment on, there's no going back. Once you see pain for what it really is, once you feel the power I'm about to show you how to unlock, you can never unsee it. And if you're still listening, good, because what comes next changes everything. You've been lied to about time your entire life. You were taught it's something that just passes, a clock ticking in the background while you live your days. That's the biggest scam ever sold to humanity. Time isn't something that passes. Time is a weapon. And right now, it's pointed straight at your head. Think about this. Every second you waste, someone else is sharpening their mind, stacking skills, plotting moves. Every hour you spend scrolling, drowning in your own self-pity, or living like tomorrow is guaranteed, someone else is building an empire. And when they take what you thought should have been yours, you'll tell yourself they were lucky or born for it. No, they weren't lucky. They simply treated time like war, and you treated it like a toy. If you're serious about turning pain into power, you need to understand this. Your time is a battlefield. Every hour is either claimed by weakness or conquered by strength. You're either training, learning, executing, or you're rotting, slowly becoming the kind of person who blames life instead of bending it. Here's a fact you don't want to admit. The version of you 5 years from now is being built right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. And your enemy? It's not other people. It's your comfort. It's that lazy voice whispering, you deserve a break, when you've earned nothing. It's that fake smile you put on while wasting day after day on things that don't move you 1 inch closer to greatness. Listen carefully. Powerful people treat time like a soldier treats ammunition. They spend it with precision. They guard it with violence. Every morning they wake up knowing they are either gaining ground or losing it. And if you don't start thinking this way, your pain will destroy you instead of fueling you. Here's what you must do. Take your pain and turn it into a timetable, I'm serious. If you've been betrayed, broken, humiliated, good. Let it fuel the most disciplined schedule of your life. Wake up earlier, train harder, study until your brain aches. Work until people start calling you obsessed, because obsession is just what lazy people call dedication they can't match. When you control your time, you control your life. When you master your time, you master your future. But every day you waste, every moment you spend indulging your weakness, you're signing a silent contract with mediocrity. And here's the most uncomfortable truth. Your pain doesn't care how you use it. It will either rot you or forge you. The choice is yours. But time doesn't wait for you to decide. Every day you hesitate, the gap between you and the person you could have been grows wider. And one day, if you don't act, that version of you, the powerful, unstoppable, unrecognizable version, will be dead before you ever meet them. So here's the question you need to answer tonight when you look in the mirror. Are you still letting time kill you, or are you ready to start killing the version of you that keeps wasting it? Because after today, every minute is either war or surrender. Pain has a secret it doesn't want you to know. It hides it so well that most people live and die never discovering it. But once you see it, once you unlock it, you become something terrifying to the world, someone who cannot be broken. Here's the truth. Pain is not just suffering. It's a signal, a coded message from life itself. Every time you feel pain, your body, your mind, your very soul is telling you, there is power here if you're strong enough to take it. But almost no one does. Why? Because pain disguises itself as weakness. It wants you to run. It wants you to numb yourself, to hide, to stay the same. But you are not here to stay the same, are you? Let me give you a fact most people never realize. Pain is the only experience in life that forces growth. Nothing else. Comfort doesn't change you. Happiness doesn't change you. Success doesn't even change you. It just exposes you. But pain? Pain is the forge. Pain burns away who you were, whether you like it or not. That's why you must lean into it, not away from it. The strongest people you've ever heard of didn't just survive pain, they fed on it. Every failure, every rejection, every heartbreak, it became data. It became focus. They stopped asking, why is this happening to me? And started asking, what is this trying to teach me? What part of me must die so something stronger can be born? This is the secret. Pain is a mirror. It shows you exactly who you are when no one's watching. It strips away the lies you tell yourself. That's why it hurts so much, because it's honest. You want to know your weaknesses? Look at what breaks you. You want to know your strength? Look at what doesn't. Now here's where the transformation begins. When pain comes, instead of collapsing, sit with it. Study it. Ask yourself what skill, what mindset, what version of you could survive this pain and turn it into fuel. And then, become that person. Pain is the gatekeeper to power. Every time you walk through it, you level up in ways comfort could never give you. But I need you to understand this. Pain doesn't care about your feelings. If you run, it will own you. If you numb it, it will grow in the dark until it controls every choice you make. But if you face it, if you fight through it, you start to control it. And once you control it, you can weaponize it. Think about this. What if you could take every betrayal, every insult, every sleepless night and convert it? Turn it into strength, discipline, and focus so sharp that people can feel it when you walk into a room. That's what's waiting for you on the other side of pain, but only if you stop running. And here's something I need you to do right now. If you're ready to step through that door, type this in the comments. Pain is my power. Pain is my power. Write it twice, not for me, but for you. Because the moment you declare it, you stop being its victim and you start becoming its master. You've just taken the first step, but we're not done. What I'm about to show you next is how to reprogram your mind so deeply that failure itself starts working for you. Failure, the word that scares most people into mediocrity. But let me tell you the truth, they don't want you to hear. Failure is not the enemy. Failure is rigged to test you, to strip you bare, and to hand you a choice. Quit or turn it into your greatest weapon. The problem is you've been brainwashed since childhood to see failure as proof that you're not good enough. That's a lie. Failure is not rejection. Failure is information. It's a coded message about what doesn't work. And if you're sharp enough, if you're relentless enough, every failure becomes a stepping stone to power. Do you know why most people lose? Because they personalize failure. They attach it to their identity. They fail a test and think they're stupid. They lose money and think they're destined to be broke. They get rejected and think they're unworthy of love. But the elite, the people who rise to the top, they don't take failure personally. They take it strategically. Every failure is a map. It points directly to the weaknesses they need to destroy. Listen carefully. Failure is like gravity. It's neutral. It doesn't care who you are. It will crush you if you stand still, but if you learn how to use it, it will launch you higher than you ever imagined. The secret? You have to reprogram your mind. Here's how. Every time you fail, you immediately replace the old story with a new one. Don't say, I failed. Say, I collected data. Don't say, I'm not good at this. Say, now I know what I must master. Train your mind to see failure as progress, because if you do, you'll keep moving forward while everyone else quits. And here's something darker, something most people can't handle. Failure is a filter. It's how life separates the weak from the strong. Every time you fail, life is asking, are you serious about this or not? And every time you push through, you're proving to yourself and to life that you are not like the rest. That's why the ones who endure the longest always win. Not because they're the smartest, but because they're the last ones standing. But there's a deeper level to this. Once you master this mindset, you can start to manipulate yourself. That's right. Manipulate your own mind. You can train yourself to become addicted to failure because you know every loss is carving out a stronger, sharper, deadlier version of you. When you rewire your brain this way, quitting becomes impossible because failure stops feeling like death and starts feeling like transformation. Think about it. What if every rejection became fuel? What if every setback became an adrenaline shot to keep going harder, faster, longer than anyone else? That's how legends are built. That's how you become dangerous. Not because you never fall, but because you never stay down. So here's the rule from this moment forward. You don't lose if you don't quit. Burn that into your mind. Repeat it until it's instinct. Every time you feel like giving up, remind yourself that life is watching. It's waiting to see if you're going to fold like everyone else or rise again. Because here's the truth that will haunt you if you don't act. Someone else out there is failing right now just like you, but they're using that failure to build a version of themselves you won't be able to compete with in 5 years. Which side do you want to be on? Let me tell you something uncomfortable. You are being manipulated every single day by the news you consume, by the advertisements you scroll past, by the opinions of people who aren't even winning at life, and worst of all, by your own mind. Yes, your own brain has been conditioned to keep you weak. The world doesn't want you powerful. A powerful, focused individual is dangerous. A man or woman who understands their mind can't be controlled. That's why society feeds you fear, comfort, and distraction. It keeps you obedient. You're being trained to seek pleasure instead of power, validation instead of self-respect, and instant gratification instead of mastery. That's why you've been stuck, questioning yourself, feeling like life is something happening to you instead of something you're building. But here's the truth. No one told you. Manipulation is not evil. It's a tool. And the ones who rise, the ones who dominate life, are the ones who learn to use it on themselves first. Here's how you do it. You have to rewire your brain to desire the things that make you strong instead of the things that keep you weak. That's self-manipulation. When you want to stay in bed, you convince yourself that getting up before everyone else is an act of war, that every rep in the gym, every page you read, every skill you sharpen is a strike against the life that once tried to break you. You condition your mind to crave the grind the way most people crave comfort. And here's the second step. Manipulate your emotions. You've been told to avoid anger, to bury your frustration. Wrong. Those emotions are fuel. The greats, the ones who build empires, they take every insult, every betrayal, every rejection, and they weaponize it. They replay those moments, not to feel sorry for themselves, but to burn it into their drive. Anger isn't your enemy. Misused anger is, but if you channel it, if you Turn it into action. It will carry you through nights when motivation dies. And yes, if you want to play on the highest level, you must learn to manipulate others too. Not in a malicious way, but in a strategic one. Influence is manipulation. Every leader, every visionary you admire mastered the psychology of influence. They knew how to speak to people's desires, how to make them feel something that moved them to action. That's why people followed them, trusted them, built their dreams for them. If you can master your own mind, you can shape the world around you. But never forget, this begins with you. If you can't manipulate your own weaknesses, you'll always be a puppet to someone else's game. The strongest people in history weren't just disciplined. They were master manipulators of their own psychology. So here's the challenge. Every time you feel lazy, every time you want to quit, I want you to stop and ask yourself, who's controlling me right now? My weakness or my strategy? If it's weakness, you've lost that battle. But if it's strategy, you've won. And every battle you win stacks until you've transformed completely. Remember, this world doesn't reward the honest. It rewards the strategic. And once you start controlling your own mind, once you start bending your emotions into weapons, you'll stop being a piece on the board and start becoming the one moving the pieces. And that's when the game changes forever. Most people wander through life like tourists. They wake up, go to work, waste hours in meaningless habits, and hope that somehow, someday, everything will make sense. But life isn't meant to be wandered through. It's meant to be hunted. You either live with a mission, or you become part of someone else's. Listen to me carefully. Your life right now, every failure, every scar, every dark night you thought you wouldn't survive, wasn't random. It was training. It was setting you up for a mission you've been too distracted to see. But here's the truth you've been avoiding. Until you decide what that mission is, you will always feel empty, no matter how much money, success, or attention you chase. The most dangerous people on this planet aren't the strongest or the smartest. They're the ones who have turned their entire existence into a mission. You feel it when they walk into a room. They're not desperate. They're not lost. Every choice, every word, every movement is calculated. And the world bends for people like that because deep down, everyone respects purpose. So how do you become that person? You start by rewriting your identity. Stop saying, I'm trying to be successful. Stop saying, I'm just figuring things out. Those are excuses dressed as honesty. From this moment on, you decide who you are, not who you hope to be one day, who you are now. If your mission is to build power, then you're not someone trying to get disciplined. You are disciplined. If your mission is to create freedom, you're not someone hoping to make money. You are a strategist, a builder, a hunter. Speak it, act like it. Because identity creates action, and action creates reality. But here's the catch. A mission demands sacrifice. You can't hold on to the old you and expect to become the new one. There are habits, relationships, even entire ways of thinking you're going to have to kill. And yes, it feels brutal, because it is. Transformation is a form of death. The weak version of you has to die for the strong one to live. And don't get it twisted. People around you will resist this. The moment you step into your mission, you'll feel the world pulling you back. Friends will call you different. Family might question you. Some people will disappear entirely. Good. Let them. Because when you commit to a mission, you stop living for their approval. You're no longer one of them. Here's the ultimate truth. When you live with a mission, failure becomes just another step. Pain becomes fuel, and time becomes your weapon. You stop being reactive, and you start becoming inevitable. So ask yourself right now, if your life was a mission, what would it be? What would you be willing to destroy, rebuild, and suffer for to make it real? Because once you answer that, and truly commit, you will feel something most people will never experience: clarity. And clarity is power. When you finally know why you're here, nothing can stop you. Let's get real. The life you're living right now is not entirely yours. It's been scripted. And the worst part? You agreed to it without even knowing. You were handed beliefs, habits, and fears before you were old enough to question them. The school system trained you to obey, not to think. Society taught you to chase approval, not power. The media programmed you to consume, not to create. You've been manipulated from birth to stay predictable, controllable, ordinary. And you wonder why you feel stuck. You're living in a cage you didn't even build. But here's the twist. Those chains aren't locked. They never were. You just haven't tried hard enough to rip them off. The real question is, why haven't you? Why do you keep playing by rules that were designed to keep you weak? It's because your mind has been trained to fear freedom. Freedom is responsibility. Freedom means you can't blame anyone else. So instead, most people choose comfort, the soft prison cell where they can complain about life instead of taking control of it. But you are not most people. You wouldn't still be here if you were. So let's rip this mask off once and for all. You are being fed lies daily to keep you chasing distractions instead of power. Think about it. Social media floods you with highlight reels so you compare instead of build. News feeds you fear so you stay passive. The system dangles quick dopamine, cheap food, cheap entertainment, cheap validation, so you never develop the patience or focus to play the long game. If you want to break free, you have to detox from the lies. Cut out the noise. Stop letting every opinion, every trend, every shiny distraction program your mind. Feed your brain only what sharpens it. Books, strategies, training, silence. Yes, silence. Because until you sit in silence long enough to hear your own thoughts, you're not living your life. You're just echoing the voices of others. And here's where it gets deeper. Once you break free mentally, you'll see how manipulated everyone else is. You'll see friends who laugh at your discipline because they're too afraid to admit they're wasting their lives. You'll see family members who project their own fears onto you because they don't want you to outgrow them. Do not get angry. Do not argue. Just understand. People trapped in the system will always attack the one trying to escape it. It's not personal, it's survival. You leaving the cage reminds them they could leave too, and that terrifies them. So what do? You keep building, quietly, ruthlessly. You turn their doubt into your fuel. And when they finally notice you've changed, when they see the results they never had the courage to chase, they'll call you lucky. They won't understand you didn't find luck. You built power by breaking every chain they were too scared to touch. But listen carefully. Breaking free is not a one-time act. It's daily. Every morning you wake up, the world will try to drag you back into its grip. Your job is to resist, to sharpen your mind every single day until you become untouchable. Because the moment you master this, you stop being a product of the system, and you start becoming something far more dangerous, a person no one can control. This is it, the final step. If you've made it here, you're already different from most. But now you need to understand the last, most dangerous truth. Power isn't something you chase. Power is something you become. Every scar, every betrayal, every failure, every hour you spent fighting against yourself, it all leads to this moment. You are no longer the same person who started this journey. You've seen what others are too afraid to look at. Pain as fuel, time as a weapon, failure as data, manipulation as a tool. But knowing isn't enough. You have to embody it until it's no longer motivation, but instinct. Here's the ultimate shift. Stop living like a survivor. Survivors react. Survivors endure. But warriors, builders, legends, they create. They don't just take punches from life. They hit back, hard. They don't wait for opportunity. They manufacture it. They don't ask permission. They take control. And this is where most people fail, even after they learn everything I've told you. They stop too soon. They start strong, but the moment life gets quiet again, the moment the pain fades a little, they drift back into comfort. Don't you dare make that mistake, because the second you relax, the second you stop sharpening yourself, you will fall right back into the chains you just broke. So here's how you become untouchable. You turn this mindset into a lifestyle. You wake up every day as if someone is trying to take everything from you, because they are. Time is trying to take it. Comfort is trying to take it. Weakness is trying to take it. So you fight every day until fighting becomes who you are. And understand this, being untouchable doesn't mean nothing hurts you. It means nothing stops you. Pain still comes, failure still happens, people will still betray you. But now you're different. You've turned everything they could ever throw at you into fuel. Every loss becomes your strategy. Every doubt from others becomes your drive. Every second that passes pushes you further ahead while they're still sleeping, scrolling, or complaining. You are no longer in the game the same way they are. You are playing a different game entirely. One where you can't lose, because even your losses build you. That's the power of this transformation. So this is it, your choice. Go back to the old life, the safe life, the one where you bury your potential under excuses. Or step fully into this new identity where you own everything, your pain, your time, your failures, your mind. If you're ready, if you're truly ready to never go back, type this in the comments right now. I don't break, I build. I don't break, I build. Write it twice. Burn it into your identity, because once you say it, you're no longer the same. You are not just surviving anymore. You are building. You are hunting. You are bending life to your will. And soon, the people who laughed, who doubted, who manipulated you will whisper your name with fear and respect, because they'll finally understand what you've become. Untouchable.